struggling to set boundaries? You're definitely not alone in that. Many of us, at some point or another, find it difficult to say no when we really should. Whether it's to avoid conflict, to keep the peace, or simply because we feel guilty, the idea of creating space for ourselves can be a challenge. And let's face it, we've all been there. We say yes to something we don't really want to do, or agree to take on extra responsibilities even when we're overwhelmed. But here's the truth, learning how to set healthy boundaries isn't just important, it's essential for protecting your peace of mind. And when it comes to learning how to establish these boundaries, Johnny Depp has a lot to teach us. Johnny Depp, the actor known for his roles in iconic films like Pirates of the Caribbean, has had a tumultuous journey in the public eye. He's been very open about the personal struggles he's faced, especially when it comes to relationships and his mental health. Over time, Depp has had to learn the hard way why setting boundaries is not just a way to protect yourself, it's also a way to build a life where you can thrive, despite all the chaos around you. His experiences have shown us that setting boundaries doesn't mean you're shutting people out, it means you're respecting yourself. This is something Depp has learned through years of trial and error. His journey is a reminder to all of us that when you learn to set boundaries, you're not only protecting yourself but also allowing yourself to engage in relationships and life more fully. So, let's take a deeper look into why boundaries are so important, and how we can apply Johnny Depp's lessons to our own lives. Boundaries are essentially invisible lines that you draw around yourself to protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being. It's a way of saying to the world, this is my space, and I need you to respect it. But why is this so difficult for many of us? Well, it's partly because we fear disappointing people. We might worry about how others will perceive us if we assert ourselves. We might think it's selfish to say no, or that we're letting someone down if we don't go along with their request. But here's the key, boundaries are not about rejecting others. They are about recognizing your worth and understanding that you deserve to protect your time, your emotions, and your mental health. This is something Johnny Depp has come to understand over the years. He's admitted in interviews that there was a time when he didn't know how to say no, and it led to a lot of problems in his personal life. He felt drained, overwhelmed, and, at times, completely lost in his own journey. But as he grew older, Depp realized that setting boundaries wasn't a form of rejection, it was a form of self-respect. Setting boundaries isn't just about avoiding burnout or protecting your mental health. It's also about maintaining your autonomy. As Depp has pointed out, we all have the right to decide who gets our time, energy, and attention. And when we let other people dictate our time or force us into situations we don't feel comfortable with, we're allowing them to take control of our lives. It's essential to take back that control and start making decisions that prioritize your well-being. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how do I even start? Well, the first step is recognizing that boundaries are a form of self-respect. This is where so many people get stuck. We often think that saying no or creating space for ourselves is selfish. But Johnny Depp has shared his experience of how, over time, he realized that taking care of himself was not just necessary, it was vital. If you constantly say yes to everyone else, you're left with nothing for yourself. Eventually, that burnout will catch up with you. Setting boundaries is your way of saying, I matter too. So, how do you know where to start setting boundaries? One of the most important steps is figuring out where you need them. Think about it, are there people in your life who consistently drain your energy? Are there situations that always leave you feeling exhausted or taken advantage of? Start paying attention to how you feel after different interactions. If you feel frustrated, overwhelmed, or mentally drained, that's a clear sign that it's time to draw some boundaries. Johnny Depp has talked about how, for years, he didn't know where he needed to draw those lines. But as he faced challenges in his career and personal life, he began to see that he had to protect himself. Not everyone gets to demand your time, attention, or energy. Once you identify where you need boundaries, the next step is to start small. You don't have to overhaul your entire life all at once. Start by saying no to one thing that's been draining you. Maybe it's saying, I can't help you with this project at work, or, I need some alone time this weekend. These small steps can make a huge difference in how you feel. Depp has shared how, over time, even small changes helped him regain control over his life. He didn't need to cut people off completely, but he needed to make sure that he wasn't constantly running on empty. It's also important to understand that when you set a boundary, you don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't need to justify why you need space or why you can't help with something. Being clear and direct about your needs is enough. Depp has learned that the more direct and straightforward he was with people about his boundaries, the less room there was for confusion or frustration. Setting boundaries doesn't mean being harsh or rude. It just means being clear about what you need and sticking to it. But here's the thing, sometimes we're not just worried about disappointing people. We're also afraid of the guilt that comes with setting boundaries. It's hard to say no to someone without feeling like we're letting them down. But here's the truth, setting boundaries is not selfish. It's necessary. If you don't take care of yourself, you won't have anything left to give to others. Depp has mentioned that learning to let go of the guilt was one of the hardest parts of setting boundaries for him. It's easy to feel bad when you say no to someone you care about. But the reality is, when you set boundaries, you're not saying you don't care about them. You're saying, I need this time or space to recharge so I can be the best version of myself for you. Now, let's talk about some pro tips for setting boundaries that might not be so obvious. One trick Depp has used is something called the broken record technique. This is where, if someone pushes against your boundary, you simply repeat your request calmly but firmly. You don't argue, you don't try to explain yourself in great detail. You just keep saying the same thing until the other person understands. It's a simple but effective way to protect your boundaries without feeling the need to justify or over-explain yourself. Another important tip is to be aware of manipulation tactics. Some people will try to guilt-trip you into crossing your boundaries. They might say things like, you're being so selfish, or, it's just this one time, please help me. Depp has talked about how he's encountered these tactics over the years, and how recognizing them was essential in protecting his peace. If someone is pushing against your boundaries and making you feel bad for standing firm, that's a red flag. You don't owe anyone your time or energy if they're not respecting your needs. It's also helpful to remember that time is one of your most valuable resources. You can set boundaries around how much time you're willing to give to people, work, or activities. Depp, despite his busy schedule, has always emphasized the importance of protecting his time. We all have a limited amount of time each day, and we need to use it wisely. Whether it's making sure you have time to relax, focus on your passions, or spend time with the people who matter most to you, setting boundaries around your time is a powerful way to take back control of your life. By now, you might be thinking, okay, I get it. Boundaries are important. But how do I actually start setting them in my own life? The first thing you need to do is acknowledge that you are worth the effort. You are worthy of peace, respect, and space. Once you accept that, it becomes much easier to draw those lines and stick to them. And remember, setting boundaries is a practice. It's not something you get perfect at overnight. But with each step, you'll become more comfortable with it, and eventually, it'll feel like second nature. So, what's the next step for you? What's one boundary you've been meaning to set but haven't yet? Maybe it's with a friend, a family member, or even at work. Whatever it is, take that first step today. Start small. Start firm. And most importantly, start believing that your needs matter. Boundaries can be the key to living a more peaceful, fulfilled life. And as Johnny Depp's journey shows, it's never too late to start setting them. So go ahead, take control of your life and protect your peace. You deserve it.